The briefing comes ahead of the CPC's 20th National Congress, which convenes later this year. As part of its 14th five-year plan for national development, China aims to create unified, quick response and coordinated emergency management mechanism by 2025. Now let's listen in.
欢迎大家出席中共中央宣传部新闻发布会。
Welcome to this SCIO
今天我
briefing.
们举行中国这10年
This press conference is one of the briefing of the China in the past decade press conference series. And today we will brief you on the reform and development of emergency management in the new era. And we are very happy to have with us today Mr. Zhou Xuewen, Vice Minister of Emergency Management, Vice Minister of Emergency Management, Mr. Yuanming, member of the CPC Committee of the Ministry of Emergency Management, Mr. Qiong Se. And now I'll give the floor to Mr. Zhou Xuewen. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, good morning. I'm very glad to meet you all. First of all, on behalf of the MEM, I would like to thank friends from the media for your long-term care and support for emergency management. Since the 18th Party Congress, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core have been attaching great importance to emergency management. General Secretary Xi Jinping made a series of important remarks and decisions in this regard. In particular, in 2018, during the reform of party and state institutions, the Central Committee decided to establish the Ministry of Emergency Management and China's Comprehensive Fire and Rescue Force. The systemic and all-round restructuring of the emergency management system has promoted historic achievements and transformation in this field. And in this field, we have 4 highlights. First, an emergency management system with Chinese characteristics has taken shape. By upholding the strengthening party's overall leadership on emergency management, we have reinforced comprehensive and whole process management of emergency response and optimized management of resources and forces. An emergency management system with Chinese characteristics has taken shape, featuring unified command, reserves of specialized and regular staff, quick response, and effective coordination among different levels. Tapping into both the overall advantage of the emergency management department and professional advantage of competent departments, we have boosted coordination between departments at all levels and between disaster preparedness and response. We have established a mechanism of risk consultation and judgment, integrated mechanism on disaster prevention, rescue and relief, and horizontal command mechanism with higher efficiency. For example, from 2018 to 2021, with the new system and mechanism playing an important role, average annual death toll and missing persons decreased by 51.6% compared with 5 years ago. Second, comprehensive management capacity has been improved. Based on the objective of establishing an authoritative and efficient national emergency response capacity system, we have enhanced capacity building in terms of response forces, command platform, emergency supplies, and IT application. The China Comprehensive Fire and Rescue Force is accelerating transformation and upgrading to respond to all types of hazards and emergencies. 4,957 professional rescue forces for waters, mountains, and earthquakes were quickly established and equipped with advanced technologies, which enhanced comprehensive modern rescue capacities. Efforts have been made in building the emergency command system. The National Emergency Command Headquarters has taken shape. An information network that coordinates among ministry, provincial, municipal, and county-level institutions, and up-bottom emergency command system are now in place. Commands and instructions can be made via video link to respond to major disasters and hazards. The modernization of emergency management has been advanced through IT application, including building resources management platform, internet monitoring of hazardous chemicals, major sources of dangers and mines to enhance safety through big data. Third, the capacity to prevent and resolve major safety risks have been effectively boosted. By maintaining preparedness on a daily basis, we have focused our efforts on addressing latent danger and root causes. On disaster prevention, rescue, and relief, we have coordinated the 9 key projects of natural disaster responses and launched the first National Comprehensive Survey of Natural Disaster Risks. A number of key projects were carried out to enhance disaster response capacity, including the reinforcement of houses, forest firewall, isolation zones, airfields, and reservoirs. Faced with more extreme weathers, we're always ready for the worst-case scenarios by emphasizing on early warning and emergency response coordination. We have established a response mechanism that mobilizes community workers to evacuate residents and get prepared before disasters hit. On work safety, we have set up a long-term implementation mechanism of red lines and rolled out regulations of responsibility systems that holds CPC committees and governments accountable. 15 measures to ensure work safety have been introduced, and a supervision mechanism of new business formats and new models have been improved. The 3-year initiative and major industry campaign to enhance work safety and law enforcement have been carried out to address both symptoms and root causes. Fourth, we have effectively addressed a series of major disasters. As officials in charge of emergency management, we are prepared all the time. Preparation was made in all aspects, including contingency plans and forces pre-deployment. In the past, fire rescue teams must get on board the fire engine in 1 minute and arrive in 5 minutes. Now, by identifying risks and deploying forces beforehand, rescue work is faster, more targeted, with better results. When complex and dangerous disasters hit, major officials of the MEM must be on the scene and lead the rescue work. Since its establishment, the MEM has organized 997 consultations, 330 response actions, and has sent more than 400 working forces. We have effectively addressed major disasters and minimized the loss of people's lives and property, including the landslide dam on the Jinsha River and Yaozangbu River, severe floods in 2020, earthquakes in Yunnan and Qinghai, wildfire in Tibet, Lingzhi, chemical plant explosion in Xiangshui, Jiangsu, hotel collapse in Quanzhou, Fujian, gold mine explosion in Qixia, Shandong, and self-built house collapse in Changsha, Fujian. In the past decade, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, emergency management work has witnessed significant progress. In 2021, incidents and death tolls of production safety accidents were down by 56.8%, and 45.9% compared with 2012. Total numbers of accidents have decreased for 10 consecutive years. From 2013 to 2021, the death toll and missing persons, the number of collapsed houses, and the percentage of direct economic losses of GDP due to disasters decreased by 37.6%, 87.4%, and 61.7% respectively. That said, natural disasters are severe and frequent in China. Work safety still faces many challenges. Risks of all kinds are compounding with each other. Therefore, there's still a long way to go in emergency management. The National Emergency Management System will unite even more closely around the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, continue to put people and their lives first, advance reform and development, and make utmost effort in preventing major risks. We'll accelerate the modernization of emergency management system and capacity so as to create a safe environment for fully building a modern socialist country, and set stage for the 20th Party Congress with concrete actions. My colleagues and I are ready to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Zhou. Now, floor is open for questions. In 2016, President Xi Jinping instructed that it is important to prevent disaster and regular preventive actions to respond to multiple types of disasters and reduce the risks of disasters. How is the ministry implementing the instructions of the President, and what results have been achieved? Thank you for your question. In July 2016, General Secretary Xi Jinping, while visiting Tangshan in Hebei Province, put forward the important instructions as you mentioned. This is outlined the most important requirements for our work. The ministry has taken critical efforts to implement these instructions to focus more on prevention, which strengthened our foundation and made our institutions more flexible. In implementing these instructions, we have achieved notable results, mainly in the three areas. First of all, we have set up a new mechanism that combines prevention, mitigation, and response. Together with relevant departments, the ministry has identified clearly the two sets of responsibilities in prevention and mitigation to build joint forces. We are working with the relevant departments to study disaster situation, collect and share information, work together under joint command and an early warning system. We have put in place an emergency organization and command model that is more flat and efficient. Leading officials are taking special responsibilities, and for the important positions, we have 24-hour shift to keep the whole system always ready to make emergency response in order to safeguard the safety and property of the public. Second, we have strengthened our capacity. We have conducted the first national natural disaster assessment action to identify the risks and clearly understand our disaster prevention and mitigation infrastructure. We have also strengthened the weak links in the engineering works, strengthened houses and structures in earthquake-prone areas, waterworks for countering flood and drought, and the relocation of the public from geological disaster-prone areas, which enhanced our capacity. For example, in 2016 and 2022, in Menyuan, Qinghai, there were 2 earthquakes respectively. The first was 6.4, and the second was 6.9. The latter one was stronger, but the number of collapsed houses was only 5% of the former one, which shows that the houses have been significantly reinforced. And third, we have made new breakthroughs in the overall capacity building. We have stepped up the input in technology, materials, and equipment. We have started the construction of 6 regional emergency rescue centers with overall national reach in order to distribute supplies in a more prompt way. We have increased the storage of emergency supplies by the value of 3 billion RMB in order to respond to the peak demand that happens in major disasters. This includes emergency communication by drones, large drainage vehicles, and underwater robots. With these heavy equipment commissioned, we have a more modernized capacity. Between 2018 and 2021, the number of people killed or missing during disasters on average, and the number of collapsed houses and direct economic losses as a percentage of GDP all dropped in comparison with the 5-year average before the institutional reform, down by 51.6%, 73%, and 44% respectively.
下一个问题，中区第2排委员。
谢谢。南方都市报电提问。近年来，我国的安全
In recent years, China has maintained a good environment of work safety. However, such accidents may pose great importance to people's lives and work. What are the measures that the ministry is taking in this regard?
更像您刚才说的，这个重大事故啊，我们一般指10人以上的事故。
Accidents that cause 10 casualties may be called major accidents, and those who cause 30 and more casualties can be called a severe and major accidents. Such accidents may have great influence on people's lives and work. Preventing such accidents is an important task for the ministry. We always take this task as the key of maintaining work safety. In the past 10 years, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee and with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, the number of major and severe accidents has decreased from 59 in 2012 to 17 in 2020. And the monthly average also decreased greatly by 71%. In particular, since its establishment, the ministry has made a great achievement, that is, the longest interval of major and severe accidents since the establishment of the PRC, and the longest interval is now 29 months. Since this year, we only witnessed 5 such accidents, down by 58% compared with last year. We are now making efforts in the 4 areas. First, upholding the 1 red line. In June 2013, General Secretary Xi Jinping has pointed out that development should not be achieved by sacrificing safety. Safety is the red line that cannot be touched. This perception should be very clear, strong, and firm. The red line of work safety is the major standard of coordinating between development and safety. In the past several years, we have been upholding this red line. Publicity has been carried out to foster an environment in the society to promote work safety. Second, we have been implementing the responsibility system. First of all, local CPC committees and government officials need to take their responsibility. For 6 consecutive years, the State Council have been carrying out assessments on work safety on provincial governments. Those who suffered from such accidents may be vetoed. Second, agencies need to implement its responsibility of supervision. Thirdly, the enterprises need to take major responsibilities. They need to follow 4 requirements, including safety input, safety training, and basic management. Thirdly, we have carried out a series of campaigns to ensure work safety. The special campaign are targeted on risky industries, and it is an approach that coordinates among administration, economy, laws, science and technology, and the restructuring of industries. This is of specific Chinese characteristics. 3-year initiatives have been carried out targeting hazardous chemicals, mines, fire and rescue, transportation, shipping, fishing, and industrial parks. New risks have been studied and judged. And we also carried out special campaigns targeting self-built houses, gases, electric bicycles, batteries, and offshore wind power. Fourthly, we have made efforts in strengthening the rule of law of work safety. We have revised the work safety law and published the 11th edition of the criminal law. We also published the major risks judgment standards for different sectors. All of these efforts helped build a better safety work law and regulations. Such measures have helped the workforces to be more professional and effective, so as to ensure strict law enforcement. And efforts have been made in cracking down on illegal actions. Whistleblowers are incentivized, and those accidents are investigated strictly so as to create a strong deterrence on the rule of law. Looking forward, we will continue to attach great importance to preventing major and severe accidents, coordinate between economic development, COVID response, and work safety, so as to set stage for the 20th Party Congress.
Fire safety concerns everyone and all industries. What has been done over the past decade to protect the people's life safety and their property? Fire safety is indeed an important part of social governance and emergency management. In the past decade, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at the core, different localities and departments have been conscientiously implementing the concept of safe development, put people and life first, and actively promoted the development of fire safety management system and a modern governance system to reduce the likelihood and impact of fires, protect the life and property of the public, and protect public safety. Here are the major results. First of all, we now have a much stronger fire safety responsibility system, with party officials and government officials taking equal responsibilities. Party committees and governments follow major issues of fire security and carry out annual assessment of government performance in this area. Industry regulators promote standardized management, and other organizations have their own governance systems which combine into a society-wide system to prevent fires. And second, we have much stronger institutions, legal institutions, implementing the central authorities has released reform opinions. The CPC NPC Standing Committee has twice amended the law on fire security, promulgated 71 local regulations, 152 government regulations, and 10 departmental rules, 524 national industry standards, which provide strong legal support for the work. And third, we have achieved better results in preventing and tackling fire risks, focusing on high-rise buildings, business complexes, petrochemical businesses, and other high-risk areas. We are also paying close attention to new areas such as electrical, chemical, engineer storage, e-bikes, and off-campus training to study the situation, carry out law enforcement and governance in a precise manner. The central authorities has overseen the handling of over 200 major and local fire risks, and local authorities have overseen the handling of over 85,000,022 fire risks. First, there is stronger firefighting capabilities. The number of firefighting stations across the country has increased from 5,256 to 7,969. Fire engines has been increased from 47,000 to 111,000. Municipal fire extinguishers has increased from 1 million to over 2 million. 21 provinces have capacity in forest and aviation firefighting. We have also established the CFR, after which the team has taken overall responsibilities in firefighting and disaster response, which has seen it dealt successfully with a number of major disasters. Fifth, there is a stronger society-wide foundation. Now, all cities, counties, and key towns in the country have promulgated their firefighting plans. Fire management has become part of community management, and there is stronger private sector services. There is also consistent awareness campaigns. Now there are over 100,000 registered firefighting engineers, 1.4 million people with special skills in firefighting, and 14,000 firefighting stations have been established in towns and villages. As the Chinese economy doubles and urban areas increase by 30%, we have maintained general stability in firefighting, especially in fighting fires that cause casualties. Fires that kill more than 3 but less than 10 has dropped from 87.7 on average to 71.1%, down by 18.9%, and the fires that kill more than 10 persons has dropped by 38.8% from 4.9 annually to 3 annually. All this is attributable to the guiding role of the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristic for a new era and society-wide efforts. We are going to continue to maintain balance between development and security, focus on prevention, and improve our firefighting efforts to fully protect the life and property of the people and provide strong support for high-quality development.
下一个问题，东区第二排第二上那位男士。
你好，新华社记者提问。今年以来，我国多地不同程度
Since this year, many parts of China have suffered from droughts and floods. What are the situation now, and what are the measures that the ministry is going to take?
谢谢你的提问。
Thank you for your
今
question.
年以来啊，我国入汛的时间
Since this year,
编号的洪水多，
we've seen an early start of
灾害
floods.
重，
There are
高
more
温
severe
干旱
floods,
时间长，
regional droughts, and
洪旱灾
a
害
longer period
主
of
要呈现着
high
4个方面
temperature
的特点。
days and droughts. Now we
一
see
是
four
降
features
水啊，
in disasters.
南北
First,
多，中间少，
North China and
全国
South China
面
see
平均降
more
雨量
rainfall
接近
than
常年
Central
略
China.
偏少，
The average
但是北方的大部
precipitation nationwide is
华南
lower
等
than the previous
降雨
years.
量降常
However,
年同
North
期
China and
偏
South
多
China
1到1倍。
Rainfall
长江
increased
流
by 20%
及
to
新疆、西藏
100%.
这些地方降水偏少，
The
一到
Yangtze
五
River
成。
and Tibet and other
第二个特
places
点是，
has
江
seen
河
rainfall
洪水
decreased
编
by
号多。
20 to 8%.
全国共有586
Second,
条
there are
河
more
流
major floods
发生了超警戒
in
以上的
rivers
洪水，
in
主要
China.
江河
More than
共发生了
580
10次
middle
编号洪
scale
水。
rivers have seen
大家
floods.
记得珠江流域形成了2次流
As
域
we've
性的较大
remembered,
洪水，
the Pearl
北
River
江发生了
suffered
超
from
100
two
年
major
的
floods.
特大洪水。辽河的干流出现
And
了
the mainstream
1995年以
of
来的
Liao
最大
River
洪水。
suffered from the biggest floods
第三
since
个特点是
1995.
局部的洪涝灾害重，
We've seen more severe regional
广东、
floods
辽宁、
in Guangdong and Liaoning and other places.
四川、青海
We have seen more
本省
disasters
发生
and
了
more major
重大的
disasters.
山洪灾害。
Provinces including
今年以来啊，
Sichuan
洪涝灾
and
害造
Qinghai
成
have
了
suffered from
171
mountain
人
floods.
死亡失踪，
And this
倒
year,
塌房屋2.7万件，
171 people
跟
have been
近
killed
5
or
年同期
are missing
均值相
due
比，
to floods
分别下降
and other
了
disasters.
60%和71.7%。
Collapsed houses are now reached
第四个特点是
270,000,
长，
down by 59% and 71%
长江流域发
respectively.
生了
Fourth,
1961年以来
we see longer period
最
of
强的
droughts and high
高温热
temperature.
浪。
Since July,
四川、
the Yangtze
重庆、
River have suffered from the
湖北、
hottest
湖南
weather since
这些省市啊
1961.
旱情迅速发
Sichuan,
展，
Chongqing,
对
Hubei,
群
and
众的生活用
Hunan
水、
provinces
农业生产
suffered
和
from
电力
bigger
供应
droughts.
造成了影响。
Those disasters has posed significant impact on the
气象部
drinking
门预
water,
测，
agriculture
今
development,
年的
and
秋季，
electricity
也
supplies
就是
of
9月
people.
份到11月份，
According to
我们国家
predictions,
北方地区、
the North
西南、
China,
华中
Southwest China,
华南
Central China,
这
and
些地方降
North
水偏
China
多，
are now seeing more
华西秋雨
rainfalls
开始的
than
时间
previous
偏早
years,
总体
and autumn
偏强
rain started
华西地区
earlier in
秋雨
Western
现在已
China.
经开始了。长江流域
Along the
下游
Yangtze River,
可能复秋连旱，
places may suffer
防汛
from
抗旱
consecutive
形势
droughts
不容乐
in
观。
autumn,
我们将
and
以
we
实
see
时
very
放心
severe
不下的责任
situation
感，
in
全
responding
力
to
以赴
floods and
继续
droughts.
做好后汛期的防
With a
汛
sense
抗
of
旱工作。
responsibility, we will continue to do our
机构
work
改革以来啊
in，
国家防
droughts
总
and
应
floods
急管理
response.
部认真地贯彻落实
The State Flood
习近平
Control
总书
and
记
Drought Relief
关于防汛
Headquarters
抗旱
and the
救灾工作
MEM has
重
been
要指示精神，
following
独
President
立
Xi
的健全
Jinping's
防汛
instructions,
抗旱的
both in letter and
工
in
作的长
spirit.
效机制，
We have been
持续地加
focusing
强
on establishing a
防灾
long-term
减灾的
mechanism in
能力
droughts
建
and
设。
floods responses so as
一
to
是形成
continue
了
to
统分
enhance
集合
capacity building.
防救
Firstly,
协同
we
的
have been
工作格局
coordinating between
国
droughts
家
and
防总
floods
啊
prevention
充分
and
发挥
relief.
牵头扎总
The state
和统筹
headquarters
协调的作用，
have been playing a
应急管理部
coordinating
门
role
发挥
in leading the
综合
work,
优势，
and the
有
MEM
关部
also
门发挥
give full play to its advantage of comprehensive capacities, and competent departments also played a professional role in this regard. We have established a mechanism of interagency coordination and coordination between local and central governments and between military and civil institutions. Second, we have been implementing the responsibility system of both party and government institutions. Local and central committee and government officials are now taking the major responsibility. Different parts of the institution will take different responsibilities, including administrative and risk assessment. Thirdly, we have been implementing the working mechanism that emphasizes on preventative measures. Agencies are now working together to assess the risk of disasters. We also established a response mechanism of preventative response. For example, in the middle of the night, strong rainfalls may hit some places, and when the public is sleeping, they may not be reached through messages or calls. So meteorological predictions need to be sent to major responsible person, especially the community level responsible person. They need to respond to these messages and information. Meteorological predictions is a condition for the institution to launch response measures. By doing so, we are taking more preventative measures so as to prevent those disasters and losses. Fourthly, we are establishing response forces with professional forces as the mainstay and social forces as the supplementary part. We are coordinating between local and central institutions, the PLA and the PAP, and also military and civil forces. Well, they are also equipped with equipment to respond to emergencies and disasters, so that a scientific approach can be followed to ensure efficiency and effective measures under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, and with the joint efforts of different localities and agencies, we have been responding to a series of major disasters. In the past 4 years, death toll and missing persons and collapsed houses has down by 30% and 55% respectively.
谢谢主持人央广记者提问。今年7月以来，四川盆地、长江中下游地区等持续高温少雨，旱情为全国生产生活产生了一定影响。那么请问，当前的旱情情势和未来趋势如何？国家防范和应急管理部采取哪些抗旱举措？
谢谢你的提问。这个7月份以来啊，我们大家感受
Starting
都
from
很深。
June, we have
这
all
个我国南方地区啊，遭遇了罕见
we have all
持续
seen
的
that in
高温
southern
少雨的
China there
天
is
气，
sustained high
特别
temperature
是
and
长江流域
reduced
旱情
rainfall,
迅
especially
速发
along
展
the。Yangtze River. There is
这次旱
rapid
情我们分
development
析
of
有
drought.
4个特点，
This
一个是
drought
高温
has 4
日数
features.
历史同
First
期
of
最
all, there
多。
is historic
7月份以来
number
啊，
of
长江
high
流域
temperature
平均
days.
高温的日
Since
数
July, there has been
32.5天，
32.5 days of high
1961
temperature
有
along the
完
Yangtze
整的
River,
气象
the
观测记
highest
录以来
since
历史同期最
1961,
多。
when complete records were
长江
kept.
中下游大部分地区和
In
四
most
川的
parts
东
of
部
the lower and the
重庆
middle reaches
这
of
些
the
地方
river and
高温的
eastern
天气
Sichuan and
超过了
Chongqing,
35天。
there have been more than 35
第二个特
days
点
of high
是
temperatures.
降水量
Second,
历史
there
同期
is
最少。
historically low
7月份以
precipitation.
来，长江流域平均
Starting
的
from
降水
June,
量
the average rainfall
160.3
in the
毫米，
basin is
较常年同期
160.3
偏少了
millimeters,
50.4%，这个偏少的幅度
50.4% less than the normal levels, and the lowest since 1961.
第三个特点是
And third,
江河的来水量
there
异
is
常偏枯。7月份
low
以来，
water levels
长
in
江
the
干支
rivers
流的来水量
since June.
较常年同期
The
偏少
water in the trunk
到
and
8成。
branches of the Yangtze River
上中游的
is
来水量
20 to
为1949年以来
80% less
同
than
期再
the
少。
normal levels, and in the
当
upper
前
and middle
长江
reaches,
干流
it is the
及
lowest
洞
since
庭湖、鄱阳湖
1949.
水位跟常
In the
年同
trunk
期相比偏
Yangtze
低了
River trunk stream
5米
and Dongtinghu
到8米
Lake and
左右。
Huoyanghu Lake, the water levels
常有实测记录
have
以
been
来
lowered
的
by
从期
5.2 to 7.9 meters
第四个特点是
than the
高温
annual
干旱
average.
灾害重。7月
And
以来
fourth, there is
干旱灾
serious
害共造成
drought,
了
which has caused
3785万人受灾，428万人因旱
37.85 million
需
people
要生活救
affected,
助，农作物
and
的
more than 3
受灾
million
面
need
积
emergency life assistance.
4045千公顷，
Over
直接经济
4,045
损
hectares
失
of
315亿元，这个跟
crops have been
近5
affected.
年同期相比有大幅度的提升。
This has
根
registered
据气象
significant
部门的
growth
预测，
in
这
comparison
个
with the
到
5-year
31
average.
号，也就是明天，我们国家
By
南方地区的
tomorrow,
高温结束。
The heat waves in
这几
southern
天
China will
华西
come to
地
an
区
end.
四川、陕西、
In the past few days
甘肃、
in western China,
重庆、
Sichuan,
湖
Shanxi,
北这些地区
Gansu, and
降雨增
Chongqing,
多，
there is
这
increased
几天都在降
rainfall.
雨。我们现在在防旱涝急转怕长期的干旱突然
So now we are
强降
getting
雨
ready to
造成洪涝灾
prepare
害。
for a possible
但是经过预
flooding.
测，后期长江中下游秋季的降水还是偏少，
According to the
可
forecast,
能
the
夏秋
autumn rainfall
连旱
in the middle and
抗
lower
旱的
reaches of
形
Yangtze
势
River might
依
be
然
lower
不
than
容乐
usual.
观。
So the drought
国家防总
situation
办公
remains
室、应急管理
serious.
部
The General
深入地
Command
贯彻
Office and
习
the
近平总书
Ministry
记
are
关于
acting
防
on
汛
the
抗旱
instructions of
救
General
灾的
Secretary Xi
重要
Jinping
指
on
示
fighting
精神，
floods and drought,
按照党中央、国务院的节制
and
部署
implementing the
全力
decisions
的抓好
of the CPC
抗旱
Central Committee and
减
State
灾的工
Council
作，
to respond to
一
the
是
disaster.
强化工
First
作的
of all,
统
we are
筹和
strengthening
安
the
排部
overall
署。
planning.
我们每
We are
天
working
组织气象、
on a daily
水利、
basis with
农业、农
other
村等部门
departments in
滚
meteorological,
动的
water,
会
and
商研
agriculture
判
to
旱情的发展
study
趋
and
势，
analyze the
指
situation
导受旱地区加
and
强
guide
组织
the
领导，
relevant departments and
从
localities to strengthen their
预案
organization
物资、措施
and
等方
strengthen their
面
responsibilities,
统筹做好
pre-planning,
抗大旱、
material supply, and
抗
countermeasures
长旱、
in order to
抗
respond to
连旱的准备。
sustained and continued
二
drought.
是及时启动
Second,
抗
we
旱
have
的应急响应，
activated
国家防
emergency
总
response
针
system
对
to
10个
drought.
省
The
份
General
及
Command
时启
Office
动
has
了
activated
抗旱
Level
的
4
4级
emergency
应急响
response
应。
in 10
国家减灾委、
provinces.
应急管
The
理部
National Disaster
启动
Reduction
了
Commission and the
旱灾
Ministry have
救灾的
activated
4级
Level
应急
4
响应。
emergency response
我们派出
to
了
drought, and we have
5
sent
个工作组
a
到
number
受旱的
of
省份
special
协助
forces
指导
to the
地方
affected
做
provinces
好
to
抗旱
assist
保
with
供水
their
和救灾
response.
救助的工作。3是督促并举
Third, we're
支
taking
持地
multiple
方
steps
抗
to
旱减灾。
support local
国家防
governments
总
in
办公室
fighting
应急管理
drought.
部调派国家综合性消防救援队伍，
We
为
are
受旱地区群众
sending
拉水、
members of
送
CFR
水。
to provide
现在大家都知道，
water for
农
the
村
affected
自来
regions.
水现在普
You
及
know,
率
in the rural
87%
areas,
左右。
about
有些地
87%
方
of the
农村的自
population
来
have
水
access to
主要
tap
是靠一些
water.
小水源，像
Some
小
are
型水
drawn
库、
from small
山
sources
西的
such
一
as
些
small
河流
dams
这个
and
来供水
rivers.
但是长期干旱，这
But
些地方的
sustained
水源
drought
就枯
has
竭了，
dried up
需要给部
these
分群众送
places,
水，
so we need to
确保群众
supply
的
water
饮
to
水安全。
the public.
同时，我们会同财政
And we're
部
working with the
紧
Ministry
急
of
移拨了
Finance
7亿元
to
的中央
transfer
自然灾害救灾资金，为同国家
84
粮储
million
局
yuan
紧
of
急调用了
emergency
中央
response
抗
supplies,
旱
and we're
物资
working
的
with
装
the
备，
National
全力
Food
支
and
持
Reserve
地
Bureau
方的
to
抗旱减灾。
deliver
谢谢。
the drought resistance
下一个问题
equipment.
中区第3排这位女士。
The root causes of many disasters and accidents is the failure of implementing the responsibility of enterprises. So what are the measures that the ministry is taking to prevent such accidents?
好，谢谢您的提问。企业主体责任啊，是
The major responsibility of enterprises
这个责任链条里边的最后一
is the last mile of the chain of the responsibility. It is also the most important link.
领导责任还是部门的监管责任
No matter it is the supervision responsibility or implementation
企业
responsibility,
的主体责任来体现来落实
we need to count on the
那么如何督促并且
enterprises
指
to
导企业落实好主体责任
implement their responsibilities. So how to help those enterprises implement their major
重
responsibilities?
视抓认真抓
General Secretary Xi Jinping has pointed out that
那么
efforts
应
need
急
to
管
be
理
made
怎么样抓呢
to ensure good
总
results.
的工作思路啊就是要抓准问
So
题
our
有效督导
approach is that we
所
need
谓抓准
to
问题
find
主要是
the
瞄准
problem
企
and
业生产
follow
要
a
素的
problem-oriented
短板
approach.
弱项采取
We
措
need
施
to target the weak links of safety work of enterprises. And efforts are made in the
第一个要
following
素
four
呢就是
aspects.
从业人
First,
员的素质
we need to enhance the skills
我们
of
联合人事部
practitioners.
开展
For example, the MEM is working with the Ministry of Human Resources to enhance the practitioners' skills in work safety,
条印措施
especially the
就是
high-risk
加强劳务
industries.
派遣
The State Council introduced 5 measures. One of these measures
我们开展
focus
培
on
训
the management
过程
of
的
practitioners in
专项
terms of
执行
safety. We're launching the special campaign of
开展打
supervising
击假证的
trainings.
行动
And we're also cracking down
第二个
on
要素呢
illegal
就是企业的技术
licenses
装
and
备
qualifications together with the police.
我们
Second,
定
we are
期发
enhancing
布淘汰
the
落后
equipment
技
of
术装备和
those
工艺的
industries.
误入
We phase out
同时
outdated
我们也鼓励
equipments and
支持我们
technologies
的传
and
统企业
encourage traditional
搞信息
enterprises
化改造和智能化的改造
to implement the application of IT and smart
现在
technologies.
搞这个智能化的改造就非常有
Smart
效
transformation is very
我们同
effective
时还
in
严
this
厉查
regard.
处企
We
业
also
安全服务
we also punish those enterprises who fail to invest enough in work safety. Thirdly, we need to enhance enterprises' management
我们
in
要
terms
求
of
企
work
业
safety.
配备
We ask
管理团
companies
队
to
完善
set up
安全
a
管理
management team of
同
work
时也指
safety
导企业
and improve their
建立先
mechanism
进的
of
安
work
全管理
safety.
体系
For example, we have
比如我们
established
建
a
立安全生产
work
标准化的
safety
管理体系
and safety production standard
我们也严厉地
mechanism
查处
with Chinese
一些落
characteristics.
后的违法的管理行为
We punish those illegal and outdated
挂靠资质出借资质
practices. For example, purchasing or
第四个
selling
要素呢
qualifications
就
and
是企业一
licenses.
把手的安全素养
Fourthly, we need to
企业一
enhance
把手
the
也是从业
performance
人员
of
之一
leaders
但
of
是
the
它起到一个
enterprises.
非常关键的
Legal representative is
我们
the
立法
first
明确了
responsible
企业
person
的
of the
法定代表
enterprises.
人实际控制
It
人
is being
是企业
stipulated in the
安全
law
生
that
产的第一
the
责任
legal representative and actual
它必须
controller
履
of
行
the
好
enterprises
安全
is
生
the
产法
first
和规
responsible
定的
person of
期限职责
work safety. They
今
need
年
to
我们
follow
开
the
展安全生
7
产月
responsibilities set
主
in
题
the
就是
production
遵
safety
守
law.
安全生产法当好第一
This
责任
year, the
国务院安委会出台
Safety
的
Production
10条硬
Month
措施
campaign
其
is
中之
themed
一也是
following the
叫做必须
law of
严
the
格履行
safety
利益责
production
任
and
的
be
责任
the first responsible
所谓的
person.
有效督导
It is also included
就是要
in the
遵循一个规律。
15 measures published by State Council.
那这个规律呢，就是安
Effective
全监管的
supervision
精准度
Follows
力
a
度
rule that is
与企业落实主体责任的好坏程度成
the
正
more
相关的
effective
关系。
the supervision is,
也就是说，安全
the
监
more
管越
effective
精准
the
越有利，
major
企业
responsible
主体责
person
任
in
落
the,
实的就越好。
in the
否则
enterprises
相反。
to
为此啊，
to
我们
perform
在安
its
全监
duty.
管中
So there is a positive correlation between the two. In our efforts, we first enhance targeted supervision. The efforts are targeted on major industries, enterprises, and major latent risks. Targeted measures are adopted instead of extensive and general measures. Second, we follow strict law enforcement and regulations. Multiple channels are used, for example, whistleblowing, accountability, interviews, and reports, in order to ensure strict law enforcement. Thirdly, we continue to provide good services. Experts are on the scene to provide services. Major counties are supported by central physical arrangements. Companies are supported in building up its mechanism of work safety. Those who are up to the standards can be incentivized so that practitioners can have a sense of dignity, achievements, and happiness in the work. Looking forward, the MEM will continue to make efforts in supervising enterprises in performing its duty as the first responsible person so as to provide good quality service.
谢谢。封面新闻记者提问：应急管理领域改革以来，国家综合性消防救援
Since
队
the
伍的职能
reform,
向哪
the
种大应急转变？能否介绍一下职能转变有哪些？
team has taken on multiple functions. Can you share more about the
谢谢你的提
transformation?
问。改革转制以来，我们这支队伍的
Since
职
the
能
reform,
大幅拓
indeed,
展，
our team has taken
从承担
on more
城乡
roles,
和森林草原火灾扑救，
from forest and
以及以
grassland
抢
fire
救人员
control
生命为主的
and
社会救
life-saving
援，
missions,
拓展为
to
全灾种大应急
comprehensive
的职
emergency
能任务。
response that tackles all types
全
of
队伍
disasters.
年接触警量从2018年的
The annual number of cases we handle has increased from 1.173 million in 2018 to 1.964 million in 2021, up by
主要特点是
6.3%.
一是始终坚持两个至上，
First of all, we
我们
continue
时刻听
to
从党和
follow
人
the
民的召唤，
party's
奋战在人民
leadership
群
and
众
respond to the
最需要
people's
的地
needs,
方，
address their most
以实施
emergent
放心不下的
concerns,
责任感，把确保人民生命安全
put
放
the
到第一
people's
位，
life
落到实
and
处。
safety first.
2018年以来，
Since
共同火
2018,
灾及各类
we
灾害
have
事故救援
saved
现场
and
救出
evacuated
遇险被困人员
persons trapped
80.8万人，疏散转
trapped in
移
disasters
220万人。
808,000.
二是始终坚持实战牵引，
Second, we
根
kept
据职能任务需要，
honing our skills
优
in
化力
real
量和
combat.
装备体
We
系，
have enhanced
建
our
高层
capacity building
化
and
工
equipment
地震、山岳、
and
水
built
域
special
和
forces
雨
in
雪冰冻
for
等
high-rise
专业救援
buildings.
队3500余支，
Over
新增各类
3,500
特种
teams
消
for
防车
various
和
types
消
of
防船艇
emergency relief
9800
efforts,
余辆艘，
increased
消
more
防
than
员防护装备
9,800
296万件
firefighting
套，
engineers,
抢险救援器
engines
材
and boats,
164万件套，
and
固电建设
1.64 million
救灾物
sets
资
of firefighting
储备库
gears.
160
We've also
个。
built 160
三是始
storage
终坚持
houses for
练兵
emergency
备战，
relief, and third,
围绕建
constant
设
drills.
一流战斗力，坚持
To enhance
24小
our
时
capacity,
驻勤备战，保持
have
整个待战、快速反应
Our
的
red,
备战
24-hour
状态，
readiness
积极开展全
and
员
carried out
岗位大练兵，
system-wide
并
drills.
连续2
For 2
年
years
组
in a
织
row, we
应
have
急使命、
organized
部省
the
联合
mission of
抗震救灾
emergency
实战化演习，
ministry
着力
provincial
提升
joint
专业
drills
处置水
in
平
response to
和应对
disasters
大
to
震救
enhance
灾
our
能力。
professional capacities and response
四
to
是
serious
始终坚
incidents.
持科学指挥，
Fourth,
推动完善
efficient
权威高效
command
的国家应急救援专业指挥
improved
和联动机制，
professional and
建成
authoritative
消防
nationwide
救援智能指
command
挥一张图，
system,
先后
established
12次组织大规模
organized
跨区域的增援行
cross-border
动，
large-scale
多力量、多
operations
大兵团
We have organized multiple forces to respond to the flooding in northern and southern parts of China in 2020, the torrential rain in Zhou in 2021, and the housing collapse in Changsha in 2022, and the recent fires we are seeing in the forests in Chongqing, which has demonstrated the strength of this new system. It is shown that General Secretary Xi Jinping and CPC Central Committee has made the correct decision in launching this reform. We are going to continue to act the instructions of General Secretary Xi Jinping and always stay alert and confident in our battles to safeguard the interests of the people and always be a reliable force for the party and the people.
好，谢谢主持人。红星新闻记者提问。我们想问的问题是，因为重大突发事件它具有高度的复杂性、复合性和跨界性。
is very complex and may cover different areas. On the scene of accidents, we always see different forces working together to respond to these disasters. So, what are the measures that the ministry is taking to enhance interagency coordination? Thank you for your question. Coordinating emergency forces and command system is an important part of institutional reform and development. It is also an important part of the modernization of emergency response system. In recent years, we have been enhancing our capacity building and command system. In coordination and responding, we focus our efforts in 3 areas. First, we see the FCR as a mainstay, and with the coordinating role played by civil forces, we have established an emergency response mechanism with Chinese characteristics. Second, we are following its scientific layout. We have established the National Comprehensive Force and have coordinated between aviation, natural disaster responses. Thirdly, we have enhancing the community level basis. We are developing and extending the emergency forces to communities, villages, and enterprises, so as to enhance the self-help capacity of community and take better preventative settlements. And in the coordination and command system, firstly, we need to enhance coordinated command. We have enhanced coordination between civil and military forces, between agencies, and between different regions. Second, we make commands and instructions on the scene, so as to promote the on-the-scene commands and explore the coordination mechanism of social emergency response forces to participate in the actions. Thirdly, we have been promoting the professional commands. Experts are employed in this process, for example, consultation and analysis. And by making scientific decisions, we need to minimize the losses of people's lives and property and maximize the efficiency of operations.
谢谢主持人。中新设计的提问，我们注意到啊，近2年应急管理部在打击假冒特种作业操作证、维护特种作业人员权益方面的一直越来越大。
on fake certificates for people working in special industries. Can we learn more about this?
好，谢谢你的提问。特种作业人员啊
Yes, people working in special industries, they can be put into 10 categories.
登高作业。
Those working in high places, for example,
是我们企业里边非常重要的一个群体。
they are an important part
他们所从事的
of the
作业
business
安全风险
workforce.
比较高，
Their job is
容易
highly
发生
risky
事故。
and prone to
因此
accidents.
呢， 法律明确的规定，
So according to
特
the
种作业
law,
人员
they must
必
be
须经过专门的培训、
specially trained
考核合格，
and
并且
evaluated
持证上岗。
and licensed to
目前
operate.
呢，全国一共有
Now
1700多
China
万
has
名特种
over
作业的人
17
员，
million people
每
working
年
in these
大约有
special
200万人
areas,
啊
and every year
进
there
入
is an
特种作
increase
业这个
of
群体。
over 2 million.
但是近年来我们发现
But in recent years, we
一
have
些不法分子受
noted
利益
that
的驱动，
some,
假
in
冒
order to make
应急管理部
illegal
门的政府
profits,
网站，
are
伪
faking
造、买卖假冒
the
的证书，
certificates and licenses
搞虚假宣传，
by creating fake
诱导
government
从业人员
websites
上当受骗。一些从业人员啊，被虚假
these
的网
people
站或者叫做
into
包
their
考、包
websites,
过这种虚假的广告所欺
deceived by
骗，
their fake
取了假
advertisements.
证，
Some have
这严重侵害了从业人员
taken
的合
fake
法权益，
licenses,
也导
This
致
is
一
a
些
serious
不具备基
infringement
本
of
安
their
全技能的人员
rights and
从事
interests, and
高风险
also
的作
led
业，
to some
这给企业
unlicensed
的安全生
people
产呢
working in highly
埋
risky
下了重
jobs.
大的隐患。
This is
对此啊，
extremely
我们主要从加
risky
强
and
监
dangerous
管
for
和热情
workplace
服务
safety.
这
So
两
we
个
are
方面
working
发力
in two
来
areas,
维护大家的
strengthening
权益。
regulation and
第一个
improving
方面呢，
services to
就是打
protect
击假证。
their
应
rights
急
and
管理部
interests.
联
First
合
is to
公安
crack
部
down on fake
在全
certificates.
国范
Together
围内
with the Ministry
组
of
织开
Public
展了
Security, we have carried out
打
a
击假
nationwide
冒政府网
campaigns
站、制售假
to
证的专项行动。
crack down on fake
这一年来
government
啊，
websites that
各级应急管理
make
部门
and sell
指
fake
导企业
licenses.
自查自
Over
改
the，year,
通过全国统
we
一
have
证书的查询平台
overseen
核
the
验证书
self-examination of businesses.
3178万人次，
31.78 million people
对企
have
业
checked
执法检查
the authenticity
30多
of
万
their
家，
certificates online.
查处无证上岗的人
Over
员
300,000 businesses have
9855
received
发
examination.
现拿假证
More
的
than
人员呢
9,855 were
1343
found to be unlicensed,
那么
and
通过这些查假证，我们
1,343
发
were
现了一
found
些线
to
索，
be holding a fake
及时向
license.
公安部门移交。
We have handed
这
over
个移交的线索是313条。
333
与此同时，
discoveries
我
to
们
the
各级
public
公安机
security
关
authorities,
雷厉风
and
行，
these authorities at various
破获了
levels are
制售
acting,
假
taking
证的案
prompt
件
actions. They have
154
already
起，
addressed
抓获了犯罪
154
嫌疑人
cases,
899名，
apprehended
打掉造假的团
899
伙
suspects,
44个，关停假冒的网站
including
461
44
个，
criminal gangs, and
查获了
shut
假
down
证、
461 fake
10万
websites,
件。
confiscated
我们从这个假冒
100,000
网站
fake
的后台
certificates
的
and
数据啊，
stamps.
梳理出
According
假
to
证
the data of these fake websites, we have
27万
also discovered another 272,000 fake certificates.
目
This
前
has
啊，
produced a
我们
strong
两个部门已
deterring
经建立
impact.
起常
Now
态
the
化
two
的打假
ministries
工作
have
机制，
established regular
只要发现一
mechanisms
起，
for
有
coordination
快速果
to
断的
handle
查
the
处。
cases in a prompt manner.
另一个方面呢，就是热情服务，
The other way we are doing this
一
is
个
to
是
improve
开
our
展特种作业
services.
人员跨省通办，
Now, people in these industries can
通过
get
技术手
their
段
certificates
实
in
现跨地
different
区、跨层
provinces,
级的内部数据的互联互通。
which is enabled by data
我们从
sharing
业人员可以在户籍所
across
在地、
different regions and
工
levels.
作所在地
Now,
就
these
近参加培
professionals
训考
can
试，
receive training
申
and
请取证
get
换证。
exams in their
我们
hometowns
的特种
or
作业
in
人员，
places
不管
that
你
they work.
在哪个地方啊，不一定非要回
They can
到户籍
also-
所在地去办证去
They。do not need
你
to
在
have
这
to
个工
go
作的
back
地
to
方
their
的
places of origin
地级
to
市以
get
上
their
的
certificates or
城
get
市
them
就
renewed.
可以办，在这儿申请换证、申请考试啊。我们要做到让数据多跑
So
路。
that with the
让
greater
人员
use
少
of
跑路
data, people do not
第
have
二
to
是我们要
travel
推
for
行啊
these
电子证书，
procedures. And second, we
电
are
子证
promoting
书
the
与
use
实
of
体证书
electronic
具有同等的
certificates.
效率。
These
特种作业人员
e-certificates have the
可以
same
通过
effect
应急部
with
的
the,
网站，
the paper ones.
随时随地免费
People
下载
can
电
download
子
for
证书。
free the e-certificates
大
from
家
the
再也不用
ministry's
担心
website.
啊，我这
They
个
no
证
longer have to
书
worry about
丢了
their
或者被企
certificates
业扣
lost
押的问题。
or held by their employers.
目前我们已经核发了
We
新
have
版的
approved
电子
and
证书
released
1364万个，
13.64 million electronic certificates. And third, on our website, we have a platform for checking the authenticity of these certificates. If you cannot find your certificate on the platform, it is a fake one. Our platform also provides basic information, a catalog of information of those exam agencies and training agencies, so that professionals can select those closest to them and avoid being attracted to the fake agencies. We are going to continue to deregulate and improve our services to provide for our people in special industries.
谢谢。21世纪经济报道记者提问：我国是世界上自然灾害
China is one of the countries in the world that suffers the severest natural disasters. Since the establishment of the MEM, what are the preparations that the ministry is taking to respond to those major disasters? Thank you for your question. The frequency, the range, and the impact of natural disasters are significant in China. Since the establishment of the MEM, we have been deeply following the instructions of General Secretary Xi Jinping on disaster prevention, mitigation, and rescue. We have been always putting people's lives first and get prepared for the worst and extremest scenarios. We're always prepared to respond to major disasters. Specifically, we have made preparations in 5 areas and enhanced capacities in 5 areas. First, enhancing mechanism preparation and enhanced capacity that coordinates between different levels and agencies. We have tapped into the advantage of the comprehensive capacity of the system and also professional advantage of other departments. We have established a coordinated mechanism that both military forces and civil forces, transportation and aviation emergency response teams that can participate in. We have established a work mechanism of information sharing, resources sharing, forces interconnectivity, and joint operation. By doing so, we have established a mechanism that can forge synergy between different departments and agencies. Second, providing better contingency plans and enhance our awareness of case-oriented plans. We have made active efforts in establishing a contingency plan system. The state and provincial governments revised and published more than 650 contingency plans. Municipal and county-level agencies also carried out revision work of contingency plans. We have enhanced our efforts in dynamic management of plans, assessment and examination, and publicity and interpretation, so that efforts on a daily basis can help us be better prepared for emergencies and achieve more effective efforts and results in enhancing the awareness of responding to emergencies. Thirdly, we have been enhancing the forces building, pre-deployment preparation, and emergency operations. Based on our analysis of disaster risks, at the beginning of every year, the MEM will hold consultations with relevant departments to focus on the preparation of emergency responses. Different departments will implement the measures together with different focuses At the same time, we will clarify and identify the different responsibilities and coordination, as well as the skills of operations. By doing so, we have significantly enhanced the rapidness of responses and the efficiency of operations. At the same time, we also equipped our forces with more advanced technologies. Along the Yangtze River and the Huai River, we have equipped our forces with boats, especially the pontoon bridges. The pontoon bridges in the operation against floods in Henan Xinjiang played an important role. Many netizens call it the aircraft carrier in rescue operations. Fourthly, we have enhanced capacity building so as to enhance our strategy of targeted and coordinated operations. Through drills and exercises, we have enhanced our capacity and preparedness based on real combat. In recent years, the MEM worked with Sichuan province and Gansu province to jointly hold 2 large-scale drills to respond to disasters and earthquakes. Rescue forces that participated in the drills are assessed in real scenarios and under complex conditions. Such drills and exercises effectively enhanced the capacity of emergency response when those forces are faced with different disasters and when working with different departments. Fifthly, we have enhanced our preparation in supplies so as to strengthen our capacity in joint reservation. We have enhanced our reserves of supplies so as to reach the demand of major and huge disasters. We have optimized the categories, scales, distribution, and standards of supplies. The distribution of supplies are based on the National Emergency Resources Management Platform. Together with logistics companies, we also optimized the logistics safeguards system, which effectively enhanced the efficiency. If there's no other questions, this is the end of today's briefing. Thank you very much.